And just like that, the NFL draft has come to a close. Welcome into Dolphins Today. I'm your host, Will Scott, breaking down each and every one of the Dolphins draft picks. They just had 4 picks, so we can go a little bit more in depth on each of their selections in the 2022 NFL draft. Here's who they took. They started the draft with a bang in round 3, taking Channing Tindall. I don't think many of us expected Tindall to be on the board there at pick 102. Then kind of a surprising selection to start this morning. They take Erik Ezukanma, a wide receiver out of Texas Tech, with their first pick today in the 4th round. Then they have to wait about 100 more picks to select another player. They go with Cameron Goode, a linebacker out of California, who I was a little bit surprised they drafted. I thought they might sign him as an undrafted free agent. He didn't get a combine invite. He was expected to be an undrafted free agent target. And then the most shocking selection the Dolphins have made, and I will rant about this a little bit later, they took Kansas State quarterback Skylar Thompson. And you know what? Most of the time I wouldn't mind or really care about a 7th-round selection. But the Dolphins' biggest need coming into this draft was the offensive line. They did not take an offensive lineman in this draft, and they only had 4 picks. A little bit surprising, but I do like this pick of Channing Tindall, a linebacker out of Georgia. Arguably the fastest linebacker in this draft class. Ran a 4.7 40 at the NFL Combine. Very good tackler as well. And I think that it might take him a little bit more time to develop than, let's say, a Leo Chenal into an NFL linebacker, but somebody who I think could be a very good player for the Dolphins for years to come. Here's what he did at Georgia last season on that national championship team. 67 tackles, 6 sacks. So I want you, before we get into some of the other picks the Dolphins have made, grade the Dolphins draft. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So when you're hit with an ad break, go down. Let me know what you think. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. I'm going to say it's a B- grade for the Dolphins. Yesterday I gave them an A, taking Channing Tindall. But you really didn't need a wide receiver. They went with Erik Ezukanma in the 4th round. You could have taken Calvin Austin if you wanted to go wide receiver. You didn't. Not to mention there was some really good offensive linemen there for the Dolphins to take that they didn't take. Cameron Goode probably would have went undrafted. Now, I don't blame them for drafting him if they really like him and felt like they didn't want to compete against some other teams trying to sign him as an undrafted free agent. But what brings this down all the way to a B- for me is the Skylar Thompson pick, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the Channing Tindall pick was a slam dunk, and that's why the Dolphins ended up with a B- grade for me as opposed to a C grade. Channing Tindall, one of my favorite prospects in this entire class. I think one of the steals of this draft, taking Channing Tindall out of Georgia. He is by far my favorite Dolphins draft pick. I didn't mind the Ezukanma pick, kind of looking back on it a few hours later, because he is somebody that's going to really fit Mike McDaniel's offense well. They are all about yards after catch, right? You're going to see a bunch of screens, a bunch of crossing routes that the Dolphins are going to run this year. They're going to be a really fast team, really fast offense, fastest show on turf in Miami, Florida. So they go with Ezukanma, who is known for getting yards after the catch. And another thing I really like about Ezukanma is it wasn't like he was a one-year wonder, right? He had 3 really productive seasons at Texas Tech. In 2019 as a sophomore, really broke out. 644 yards, 4 touchdowns. He got better each and every single year at Texas Tech. His best season coming in 2021 with 700 receiving yards. Overall, I have mixed feelings about this pick just because I really wanted Calvin Austin Jr. I had him mocked to the Dolphins in one of my Dolphins mock drafts. And if you want a fast wide receiver, Calvin Austin, definitely the speedier option out of the 2. Ezukanma, not a bad pick. I gave it a B- grade. I think that he fits the offense well. Mike McDaniel really spoke highly of this guy in his draft press conference a few moments ago. So they like the pick, and I think he's going to fit this offense well, replacing Devontae Parker very solidly. Did you like the Ezukanma pick? And in the last video we put out, I saw a lot of people put a B. I saw a lot of people put an F. So it looks like mixed feelings from Dolphins fans about Ezukanma. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you like the pick, type Y. If not, type N. But I am cautiously optimistic after this pick that the Dolphins are going to sign J.C. Tretter. I think it's happening. I think it might happen. I don't have any sources. I haven't seen any official reports. But for the Dolphins not to take a center with their round 3 or round 4 selections and not to draft an offensive lineman, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I think JC to Miami might be a possibility. And let's get this back trending in the 305. Hashtag JC to Miami, at JC Tretter, and I will retweet your tweet. These next 24 hours are crucial. I think JC Tretter has been waiting until after the draft to sign with the team. Let's show him that we want him in Miami. I'll read your tweet if you at JC Tretter. Let's fast forward to the Dolphins' 7th round selections. And with their first pick in round 7 at 224 overall, they take Cameron Goode, a linebacker out of California, one of the more slept-on linebacker prospects in this draft, one of the best players that did not receive an invite to the NFL Combine, had a very productive career at California. And so I'm going to give it a B- grade just because, they already took a linebacker earlier with Tindall. They didn't need to draft 2 linebackers in their first 4 picks. And they didn't really need to draft Goode because, as I mentioned earlier, getting him as an undrafted free agent was possible. But I really like Goode, I think. They met with him last month. Apparently that meeting went really well because they ended up taking him as opposed to trying to get him as an undrafted free agent. Let's look at the Dolphins linebacker depth chart. And I slotted Goode here as the 3rd string behind Jalen Phillips. He's got an outside chance maybe making the team as a 7th round pick. We'll see what happens. But he had a very productive career at California. Overall, when you look at his numbers, really, really good. And I think that when you look at this linebacker room right now for the Dolphins, you have to feel a lot better about it than you did before this draft. You get Tindall, who I don't think is going to start week 1, but might start by the end of the season, and you get Goode, who might be a productive backup on this Dolphins team. So again, I'm going to give the Dolphins a B- grade, and I'm going to break down the Skylar Thompson pick here in a few seconds. But Tindall really made this draft for the Dolphins. That was an important pick in the 3rd round. That was their first pick in the draft. They traded their 1st and 2nd round picks to the Kansas City Chiefs to get Tyreek Hill. So that was their first pick, taking Tindall. They nailed it. That's why it's a B- grade, but it would have been much higher had they not taken Skylar Thompson. What were they doing? I mean, why would you waste one of your 4 picks on a quarterback? Not even like a guy that's going to be a good NFL QB. If you wanted to go quarterback, why not go Carson Strong or Cole Kelly? I mean, Skylar Thompson, I didn't really think had much of a chance to be drafted. I'm going to give this an F. Again, I really, most of the time, don't mind 7th round picks. Even Tom Downey says it's impossible to give a 7th round pick an F. I'm giving it an F because the Dolphins only had 4 picks. They needed an offensive lineman. Alec freaking Lindstrom and Donovan West were on the board here in the 7th round, and you take Skylar Thompson, who might make the roster, is a 3rd-string quarterback, but probably not. I'm stunned right now. Chris Grier, man, you had me all hyped up about Channing Tindall yesterday. I was wearing the shades. I was okay with Ezukanma pick. I was okay with the Cameron Goode selection. You underwhelmed me here. Skylar Thompson, look, he was a dual-threat quarterback his first couple years at Kansas State, was a really dynamic playmaker, but because of a knee injury, because of shoulder injuries, he really wasn't a dual threat his last season at Kansas State. Now, granted, he improved as a passer, which is good. I got to see him live against LSU. So he looked good as a passer, but he's not an NFL quarterback. I don't think that he's going to make the roster. So we'll see. I mean, Mike McDaniel, one of the more creative offensive minds in the NFL. Maybe they'll want to make him somewhat of a Taysom Hill on this Dolphins team, but when you have 4 picks, you need to hit on pretty much every single pick. They hit on Channing Tindall. They missed badly here in the 7th round, taking Skylar Thompson. Who was your favorite Dolphins draft pick? As you can probably guess, mine is not Skylar Thompson out of Kansas State. Mine was Channing Tindall. I'm expecting a lot of Tindalls in the chat, so go down and let me know what you think. And we do have some breaking Dolphins news here. Undrafted free agent Kellen Diesch, a freak athlete, offensive lineman out of Arizona State. Tom Pelissero reporting this. He's all over these undrafted free agents. And tomorrow, we're going to be putting out an undrafted free agent tracker, breaking down each and every single one of the Dolphins' undrafted free agents. And because the Dolphins just had 4 picks in this draft, expect them to take a lot of undrafted free agents, pick up some more guys in addition to this NFL draft class. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Dolphins fans. This has been Will Scott with Dolphins Today.